Imagine walking through the ancient streets of Konya at dawn, where the echoes of centuries-old wisdom still linger in the air. The city awakens slowly, bathed in the first light of day, and you find yourself drawn to the timeless teachings of one of history's greatest spiritual minds, Rumi. But what if we could do more than just read his words? What if we could sit down with Rumi himself and ask him the questions that weigh on our hearts in this modern age? In this unique journey, we will attempt to do just that. Commentaries from Ahmed Avni Konuk will guide us as we seek answers to some of life's most pressing questions. How can Rumi's teachings help us overcome the isolation and spiritual emptiness that so many of us feel in modern life? What can Rumi offer those who are struggling with an identity crisis or seeking a deeper connection with their true selves? In a world increasingly shaped by globalization, how can we maintain our cultural integrity while upholding universal spiritual values? And how do we distinguish true love from mere attachment, cultivating relationships that are both deep and meaningful? Join us as we bridge the gap between past and present, seeking wisdom that transcends time.
Rumi, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today on behalf of Attic Books. Before we begin, may I ask, do you mind if I address you as Rumi, or would you prefer another name?
Names are mere labels, dear one. Call me Rumi if it pleases you, for it is not the name, but the love and intention behind it that truly matters.
Thank you, Rumi. Your words are always a source of profound wisdom. We are honored to explore your teachings today. In our modern world, many individuals struggle with a profound sense of meaninglessness and isolation. Viktor Frankl, in his work Man's Search for Meaning, describes how the lack of purpose can lead to a deep existential vacuum. Additionally, Sherry Turkle, a sociologist, argues that while technology has connected us superficially, it has also deepened our sense of loneliness and disconnection. Furthermore, Jean Baudrillard suggests that consumerism and the emphasis on material wealth have contributed to this spiritual emptiness. How can your teachings help those who feel lost in this complex web of modern life, where meaning seems elusive and genuine connections are hard to find?
My dear friend, the challenges you speak of, the feelings of isolation, the absence of meaning, and the spiritual emptiness that pervades the modern world are not new to the human experience, but they have indeed taken on a new form in this age of technology and materialism. The soul's cry for meaning is as old as time. Yet in today's world, it is drowned out by the constant noise of superficial connections and the ceaseless pursuit of external achievements. Consider the vastness of the universe within you, a space where the divine resides. Yet how often do you turn inward to listen to the whispers of your soul? You wander from room to room, hunting for the diamond necklace that is already around your neck. This search for meaning and connection in the external world is like chasing shadows, always just out of reach, always leaving you yearning for more. The sense of isolation that technology has exacerbated is not due to the lack of communication, but to the lack of true presence. When hearts are disconnected, no amount of words can bridge the gap. As I have said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. This wound, this emptiness, is where the light of understanding and divine love can penetrate, if only you allow yourself to feel it, to embrace it rather than flee from it.
Rumi, if I may, are you suggesting that this emptiness, this loneliness, is actually a gift? That it's leading us somewhere deeper?
Yes, precisely. This emptiness is a doorway, a passage to the deeper truths of your being. The more you seek meaning externally, the more elusive it becomes. But when you turn inward, you discover that the very thing you are searching for has been with you all along. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. Love, true love, is the essence of all connection, both to the divine and to each other. In the world of material pursuits, where Baudrillard speaks of identities shaped by consumption, it is easy to lose sight of the true self. But the self is not defined by what you own or what you achieve. It is defined by your relationship with the divine, by your capacity to love, to give and to connect on a level that transcends the material. The wealth within you, your essence, is your connection to the divine. Everything else is just a distraction. This spiritual emptiness that Baudrillard describes is the soul's hunger for its true nourishment. It cannot be fed with possessions or superficial accolades. It is nourished by the recognition of the divine within, by the cultivation of a heart that is open to love and truth.
So, are you saying that this sense of emptiness and isolation isn't something we should fear, but rather something we should embrace? That it's a signal guiding us toward a deeper connection with our true selves and with others?
Exactly so. The emptiness is not a void to be filled with more distractions, but a sacred space where you can meet your true self. It is in this space that the divine waits for you, offering the wisdom and love that your soul seeks. When you let go of who you are, you become who you might be. This is the essence of surrender, the path to true meaning. Embrace the loneliness, for it is in solitude that the soul grows closest to the divine. Embrace the emptiness, for it is within this void that the seeds of spiritual awakening are sown. In doing so, you will find that the connections you long for, both with others and with your own soul, become richer, more meaningful, and more fulfilling. And remember, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. In this field, beyond the superficial judgments and distractions of the world, you will find the peace and connection that your heart desires. This is where true meaning is found, in the space between, in the embrace of what is, and in the deep, abiding connection with the divine.
Rumi, in today's society, individualism is highly valued, often leading people to define themselves by their achievements, possessions, and outward appearances. Erich Fromm, in his work, suggests that this focus on the self and material success has led to a crisis of identity, where people struggle to understand who they truly are beyond these external markers. Additionally, Carl Jung speaks of the shadow self, the parts of our identity that we ignore or suppress, which can lead to feelings of incompleteness. How can your teachings guide those who are lost in this search for identity, feeling disconnected from their true selves, in a world that often encourages them to define themselves in superficial ways?
Beloved seeker, the identity crisis you speak of is the soul's whisper, urging you to remember who you truly are. In the noise of the world, it is easy to lose sight of your essence, to become entangled in the webs of external validation and material success. But these are mere garments, not the essence of your being. You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. This means that your true identity is vast, interconnected with the divine, and far beyond the superficial layers that society places upon you. The crisis of identity arises when we mistake these external markers, titles, possessions, appearances, for our true self. Yet the soul knows that these are fleeting, that they do not satisfy the deep hunger for connection with the divine. The wound is where the light enters you. The identity crisis, the sense of incompleteness, is not something to be feared, but a sign that the soul is ready to return to its true home, to the heart's center where divine love resides.
Rumi, if I understand correctly, you're saying that our true identity isn't something we construct with our achievements or possessions, but something we uncover within ourselves? And this shadow self that Jung speaks of, how do we deal with those aspects of ourselves that we tend to ignore or suppress?
Yes, you have understood well. The true self is not built, but discovered. It is the essence of who you are, hidden beneath the layers of what the world expects you to be. The shadow self, as Jung describes, is not your enemy, but a part of this discovery process. The moon stays bright when it doesn't avoid the night. In other words, to truly know yourself, you must face these shadows, embrace them, and understand that they are part of the divine whole within you. The shadows you fear are simply the unrecognized aspects of the light within you. When you embrace them, you find that they dissolve into the light of your true self. Don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. Your journey is unique, and it is in facing all parts of yourself, including the shadows, that you unfold the true story of who you are.
So, Rumi, are you suggesting that by embracing our shadows, by facing the parts of ourselves that we often hide, we can actually uncover a deeper, more authentic identity?
Exactly so. The shadows are not to be feared, but to be integrated. In this integration, you find wholeness. The real beloved is your beginning and your end. When you find that one, you will know that nothing else can ever satisfy. The journey of self-discovery is about reclaiming all parts of yourself, understanding that even the parts you hide are reflections of the divine. When you stop seeking identity in the external world and turn inward, you will discover that your true self is already whole, already complete. It is the essence that remains when all else falls away. This is the identity that brings peace, that transcends the superficial layers and connects you to the divine source of all being. Remember, you were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? Your true identity is vast, limitless, and filled with the potential to soar. Embrace every part of yourself, and you will find that the identity you seek is not something you need to create, but something you simply need to remember.
Rumi, it is a great privilege to speak with you. In today's world, the forces of globalization have brought people closer together, but they have also led to a loss of cultural identity and a sense of rootlessness for many. Scholars like Zygmunt Bauman have discussed how this liquid modernity creates a state of constant change and uncertainty, leaving individuals feeling ungrounded. Furthermore, the spread of consumer culture has, in many ways, eroded traditional values and practices. How can your teachings help people navigate this rapidly changing world, maintain their cultural integrity, and find a stable ground in the midst of such fluidity?
Dear seeker, the world you describe is one of great flux where the ground seems to shift beneath your feet, and the familiar anchors of culture and tradition feel distant or lost. Yet even in this changing world, there is a constant, a thread that connects all of humanity to the divine, to the source of all being. The world is a mountain in which your words are echoed back to you. What you send out into this world, the values you hold, the love you give, are reflected back to you, no matter how much the outer world may change. The forces of globalization and cultural erosion are indeed powerful, but they need not lead to the loss of one's true identity or values. The key lies in grounding yourself in something eternal, something that does not change with the tides of time. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. This is the space of unity, where cultural differences become expressions of the same underlying truth.
Rumi, are you suggesting that instead of resisting these changes, we should find a deeper, more universal grounding that transcends cultural differences?
Yes, precisely. The changes you see in the world are on the surface, like waves on the ocean, but beneath the surface lies the vast, still depth of the ocean itself, unchanged by the storms above. This depth is your connection to the divine, to the eternal values that are shared across all cultures: love, compassion, kindness, and truth. These are the roots that will keep you grounded, no matter how much the world around you shifts. Cultural identity is important, yes, but it should be a window to the universal, not a barrier. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Each culture, each tradition offers a unique way to express the same fundamental truths. In recognizing this, you can embrace change without losing yourself.
So, what you're saying is that by focusing on these universal values, we can navigate the changes brought by globalization without losing our cultural roots.
Exactly. When you root yourself in the eternal, in the values that transcend time and culture, you find stability in the midst of change. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. This field is the space of universal connection, where differences become complementary rather than divisive. In this way, you can honor your cultural heritage while also embracing the diversity that globalization brings. It is not about choosing one over the other, but about finding harmony between the two. The world may change, but the essence of who you are, your connection to the divine, remains constant. Let this be your anchor in the storm, your guiding star in the night.
Rumi, it is an honor to have this opportunity to delve into your teachings. In today's world, relationships are often superficial, and many people struggle to understand the true meaning of love. There is a tendency to confuse attachment or desire with love, leading to disappointment and heartbreak. Modern psychologists, such as John Bowlby with his attachment theory, discuss how early relationships shape our understanding of love and connection. How can your teachings help us to discern true love from mere attachment? And how can we cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships in our lives?
My beloved, love is the very essence of existence, the force that binds all things together. Yet, in the dance of life, many confuse love with attachment, thinking that to love is to possess, to hold tightly. But love is not a chain. It is a light that illuminates the soul. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. True love is not about possession, but about recognition, seeing the divine within the other, and allowing that light to shine. Attachment, on the other hand, is rooted in fear, the fear of losing, the fear of being alone. It is a grasping of something outside of oneself, believing that it will fill the emptiness within. But love True love is not something that can be grasped or held. It is a state of being, a way of seeing and experiencing the world. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. When you love truly, you do not seek to possess. You seek to connect, to understand, to grow together.
Rumi, if I understand correctly, you're saying that true love is more about recognizing the divine in another person, rather than trying to possess or control them. But in a world where relationships are often built on expectations and desires, how do we cultivate this deeper form of love?
Yes, you have understood well. True love begins with the self, recognizing the divine within yourself first, and then seeing that same divinity in others. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. The expectations and desires that often accompany relationships are like veils that obscure the true light of love. To cultivate true love, you must first remove these veils, these barriers of fear, ego, and attachment. In every relationship, seek not what you can take, but what you can give. Love is a mirror. When you give freely without conditions, you receive that same love in return. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. True love is not found in the other, but in the space between, in the connection that transcends both individuals.
So, in essence, you're saying that love is about giving, about connecting on a deeper level without the barriers of ego and fear. But how do we begin to break down these barriers, especially when past experiences have left us guarded or fearful?
Exactly. The barriers you speak of are the walls the ego builds to protect itself from pain, but in doing so, it also keeps out love. To break down these barriers, begin with forgiveness of yourself and of others. The wound is the place where the light enters you. It is through these wounds, these past experiences, that the soul learns, grows, and ultimately loves more deeply. Embrace vulnerability, for it is in vulnerability that love thrives. Let go of the need to control, and allow love to flow freely, like a river that nourishes everything in its path. Within you lies the capacity for infinite love, if only you allow yourself to be open to it. In this way, you cultivate true love, not a love of possession, but a love of connection, of understanding, of shared growth. This is the love that transcends time and space, the love that unites all of creation.
Rumi, we are deeply grateful for the time you've taken to share your wisdom with us today. Your insights into love, connection, and the human soul have been truly enlightening. We hope to have the opportunity to speak with you again on another topic in the future. Thank you for guiding us with your timeless teachings.
It has been a joy to share this moment with you, dear one. Remember, the quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. In the stillness of your heart, you will find all the answers you seek. Until we meet again, may love guide your every step.